Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Jahaneman. And today we are once again with our special episode on women of substance. Jahaneman is trying to pay tribute to all the achievers and all the ladies who have struggled a lot to reach to greater heights. And today we have one of them, Mrs. Nafisa Bhindrewala. Hello, Nafisa. How are you?
Hello, Halima. How are you? I'm good, thank you.
I'm also good and nice to see you after 4 years.
Yeah, same here. It's lovely to see you again.
So Mrs. Nafisa has more than 3 decades of educational experiences, and she was the principal of ICSC school and a very successful principal. More about Nafisa, we are going to listen from her only. Yes, Nafisa, please tell us about your journey, about your childhood education and achievements.
Yes, thank you, Halima. So I would start by attributing whatever I've achieved to my parents, because it was my dad who was very progressive and he put me in a convent school for education. So that set the foundation. And then when I got married, and then I realized that, things were not working on the financial front. So I did not let that deter me. I immediately took up a job. Uh, I'm a qualified dietitian, but I will tell women today that if you can't, get into the profession for which you are qualified, or your dream profession or whatever, don't let that, bring you down. Wherever you are, just conquer there. So a qualified dietitian entered the world of education, and I am so happy and so proud to call myself a teacher, an educationist. And yes, I love being among students. I always say that, being among students gives me a kind of a high. So I started my journey as a primary school teacher, then graduated to very quickly to a secondary school teacher, then moved to the principal of the new branch started. And in 2014, it was family calling. So my elder daughter, who's a gynecologist and obstetrician in Australia, she needed my support. And I quit my full-time job. Let me be honest, initially it was really traumatizing. Like, from a busy principal to suddenly a full-time grandmom. It's like, what do I do? I mean, no food for thought. What's happening? How much of internet, how much of research, how much of friends or whatever or family you will discuss with. And then I started volunteering in Australia. Of course, in India, I have been volunteering. So I started volunteering in Australia. I just believe that I have taken math and science is my, forte. And when there came up a opportunity of volunteering for creative writing, like first I just dismissed it, saying that no, I can't do that, And then it came up again, and I said, if it's come up the second time, I need to look at it. So I started with volunteering for creative writing. Then there was a government funded program, Youth Frontiers Mentoring, where we help students get ready for career. Then Digital Skills for Seniors is again a government funded program where we help seniors, make use of the best use of their mobile, get connected with their family, use laptop or iPad, etc. And then I was back to normal, back to what Nafisa is. So now I'm helping my daughter with her kid, and simultaneously I have lots and lots to do. Recently, I got connected with a research organization. So my dream of becoming a researcher is also getting fulfilled.
Wow, that's great, great story, Nafisa. And it's so inspiring that for your family, for your daughter, you have sacrificed your full time job. And at the same time, God has gifted you with many more opportunities where you can explore many more things, not only just a
Yes.
principal of a school, but you can explore the entire world through your research projects.
Yes,
That's so
yes.
nice. It's very inspiring, and I'm sure that my sisters, those who are going to watch it, they must like it and they'll get inspiration by the story of Nafisa. So,
Thank you, Halima.
Nafisa, Jahaneman salutes your greatness and salutes your courage and foremost, your passion for your family. It's
Thank
really rare in today's world. And God gives us, that's true, that if we are doing something, no, some noble task, God is always there to give us back. So, Nafisa, now, as you know, that this Women's Day, we are going to fight against one taboo, I must say, or one myth about the women, that women are for fashion, or women have a special soft corner for dressing, for clothing, and it's taken into like wrong direction. Jahaneman wants to just clear it out. So, what is your understanding of emotional fashion? Do we really need to fashion our emotion?
Okay, so when we talk about fashion and emotions, emotion your fashion, fashion your emotion. So clothes, um, clothes speak not only about us, but they speak to you. All of us have that, those special piece of clothing when you open your wardrobe and there may be 50 pairs of clothes lying, but there's that one particular t-shirt or one particular blouse which would even have tiny holes, but you would still be wearing it, you know, quite often. Uh, there is a, a concept called as enclothed cognition. So Dr. Galinaski, he's social psychologist, American social psychologist, and he's done, research study on this issue, this topic, I should say. So he took, a mixture of professionals, including doctors, athletes, and artists, and he made two groups. So one group wore their typical outfits, whether it's the doctor's coat or the athlete's uniform or the painter's art smock, and the other set of doctors, painters, and athletes, they just wore their casuals, and they both went on their fields to perform. Now the people who actually wore the outfit uh, for the profession, they outperformed the other group. That means that your clothes, what you are wearing, the textile or the fabric, it invades your body, your bloodstream, your brain. It transports you into a different realm, and you absorb those skill sets of that particular profession, and then is how you perform. Now if you have to go for a job interview, you're not going to go in a casual t-shirt and a jeans. You have a set of clothes for a job interview or for a meeting. You have different set of clothes for parties or going to the gym, etc. Now, regarding women, are exploiting the fashion industry, no. Whether you are in a government job, whether you are a male, a female, a kid, or you are a fashionista, all of us are part of the fashion world, and
And everybody's selling in the same boat.
exactly, uh, I'll tell you, uh, for one cotton t-shirt, it's 3,000 liters of water. Now that cotton t-shirt is being worn by kids also, by males and females. But when we buy that extra piece or that extra t-shirt which was not required in the wardrobe, do we ever think of that? No. So just don't blame the women. Fashion is our second skin. It's for make.
Thank you very much, Nafisa. Yes, for your very clear thought about this. And yes, really, emotions plays very important role in our clothing and dressing. That's very true. And we feel differently in different clothes. Our
Yes.
emotions are entirely different. Now, as you have already started speaking about the wastage of water and then environment concerns, I would like to know from you that how fashion industry is affecting our sustainable development and how we have to be more empathetic towards our environment safety.
Yes. So like I said, 3,000 liters goes into one cotton t-shirt. How much of deforestation in preparing viscose? How much of oil goes into preparing of polyester? And it's not only deforestation, the habitat of endangered and extinct species, what do you do about that? The ancient trees are being cut down. Are we owning the planet Earth? No, the planet owns you, and you haven't borrowed it from your ancestors. I mean, sorry, you haven't inherited from your ancestors. You have borrowed it. You have loaned it from your children. And what kind of planet Earth are we going to leave for our kids? So today, the revenue of the market revenue of fashion industries are like $400 billion plus. But it is also the one of the most polluting industries. So one to the industry people are of course responsible. We have brands like Armani, Gucci, Versace talking about going anti-fur. But isn't it the responsible of the consumer also? You get up in the morning, you go, you open your wardrobe, you pick up your clothes, then you go to work, you come back, you change into gym clothes, you come back, you change into party clothes or evening clothes. And then at the weekend, oh, I have no clothes, and you go shopping. You go to buy one piece of clothing and you end up buying 5. So the utility was for 1, you bought 5. The other 4 you just bought because they were lying there. Maybe sometimes the shopkeeper told you, they are very good salesman. Madam, ye bhi acha lagta hai, sir, aapko ye bhi acha suit hoga, and you just pick up.
Yes.
So isn't the responsibility of the consumer also, not only the fashion industry?
I think more than fashion industry, it's consumer who is responsible, because if there is a demand, then naturally market is going to provide.
Exactly. Like, Halima, my younger daughter, like she is like, if you haven't worn a piece of clothing for 6 months, it's very less likely that you're going to wear it in future. So please, out of your wardrobe, give it to somebody who will use it. And I've started doing that. I have given loads and loads of saris I've distributed, which I was like clinging to. No, this my mom gave, this my dad had bought, my dad is no more, so I need to keep. Or, oh, I had bought this at this occasion. She's like, oh, this one gave me for my birthday. She's like, Mom, you've not worn it for a year now, 5 years, please give it off. So we need to do that, we need to.
Yes. Thank you very much, Nafisa. It was really very interesting. And, at the same time, we have to be very concerned about this, because these are the facts that are not very spoken. Now people have started speaking, like we are speaking about Save Paper. In the same way, we have started speaking about simplicity. The real beauty lies in the simplicity, and how we can show our concern about our planet. That's true. So this
Some of the brands have
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me just add this. Some of the brands have started like accepting their old clothes, and they are recycling and upcycling and all, which is amazing, So we also can do it amongst ourselves rather than buying an outfit all the time, exchange, rent, swap, all that,
Yeah. Okay.
At least in the family.
Yes,
at
we
least
can,
in the
we
family.
can. And we can always recycle, those clothes. Nowadays, the people are not wearing to that extent that it is torn or it is not usable. It is still usable. We can reuse it always. So, Nafisa, this International Women's Day, Jahaneman is very keen to celebrate it with full zeal and enthusiasm. You know why? Because last full 1 year, everybody has suffered, and we all were like quite depressed a little. Like everywhere there was not joy and happiness. Very close people were dying, they were leaving us due to COVID, and all these things were happening. But now we want to start afresh. So for this International Women's Day, what is your own resolution and what is your message for the sisters?
Okay, so let me put it like this, that as a woman, you are first a woman. You are yourself. Love yourself and take care of yourself. Okay. Now, we women, form half of the world's population. and we are responsible for the other half coming into the world. That is our power. You know, nobody has to give you your power. It's within you. Just grab it, you know, and you are unstoppable. Unstoppable. The world is your runway. Go and conquer it. You know, raise your girls and boys with the same capability. Educate them, make them capable. Raise your boys to respect women. Raise your girls to love themselves, to be confident. And that is your first responsibility. Second, it's not only about being a superwoman. It's about being a super mom, you know. Superwoman, you're for yourself. Now, what I say is, if you have brought children into the world, you have brought them for your joy, for your, you know, fulfillment, whatever it is, you know. The children didn't ask you, bring me into the world. And therefore, it is your duty now to help them maximize their potential. So I believe, and my, you know, what I want to do is help each mom move towards a super mom in the coming years. So that's what I want to do, and I've started doing, and I want to continue doing that. So I want to see every woman as a superwoman and every mom as a super mom.
Thank you very much, Nafisa, for being with us and sharing such a noble thought that first we have to be a super mom and then super woman, because we have brought the children into existence and we have to take care of them till the end. We have to fulfill our responsibilities. So,
And help
my
them
dear,
expand their possibilities.
yes,
They have everything in them. Every child is a genius. Just help him or her, help your child, I will say, help your kid reach his maximum potential. That's what is important.
thank you. Thank you very much. And my dear sisters and brothers, this International Women's Day, let's pledge to spread happiness, be happy, and then make others happy. And she was Mrs. Nafisa Bhindrawala, who was very cheerfully sharing her achievements, and especially the achievement as a mom, that how she sacrificed her full-fledged job because to accompany her daughter in Australia and to take special care of the granddaughter. So Jahaneman salutes you, Nafisa. Thank you very much for being with us. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.